step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
It's the best time of the year to order a new John Deere sprayer during Landmark Implement's Fast Start Early Order program. Leverage the industry's latest technology with See and Spray to target weeds in season in corn and soybeans and use less herbicide per acre. Utilize Exact Apply to save in chemical usage and prevent over-application. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year during Landmark Implement's Fast Start Early Order program. Contact your local Landmark location for full details and experience the Landmark difference.
NEBCO is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. NEBCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From NEBCO's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Husker fans, the 2024 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and they need your support in Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $170. This plan includes tickets to the UTEP or Northern Iowa, plus Illinois or Rutgers, and either UCLA or Wisconsin games. Tickets are only available while supplies last. To purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Play ball!
Ready to unleash the fun with Salt Dogs Baseball? Join us at Haymarket Park for 50 action-packed games running through August. Stay ahead of the game by visiting saltdogs.com for updates on exciting promotions, giveaways, and events happening each week. Experience a change-up from your typical family night, or make it a Grand Slam good time with friends and coworkers.
Strike three, you're out!
Don't miss the fun happening all summer long. Visit saltdogs.com to get your tickets and unleash the fun.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys want a happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I am a huge guy.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome into the happy hour. Happy Thursday here in sunny, beautiful Lincoln, Nebraska. I am Rico here on the happy hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. No Nick Sainert today, as he is headed down to, or should already be at, Scissors and Scotch out there for On the Block and Old School, as they'll be broadcasting live from down there. But I am joined by a very familiar voice. Used to have a show with him, Jake Bockovich.
That's right.
Bock, what's up, man?
Oh, it's a good day for me to join you. I know how much you hate Boston sports other than your beloved Patriots. And so I came in with my Celtics jersey. I'm all ready for game one.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I saw you walk in and I was like, I've never seen you wear so much Celtics gear.
Oh, man. Yeah. I wait for the finals. And obviously that doesn't happen every year. No, I have a few jerseys. I'm just not much of a jersey guy, I guess. And then, in general, since getting into media, you're not supposed to wear team colors too much, so I just don't wear that much sports gear, I suppose.
I have a lot.
Yeah.
Too much.
I see that.
I have so many jerseys. It's totally fine, though. Again, this is the happy hour sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting. Shout out to them for all of their support. Thank you so much. As we said, Jake Bachman wearing all of his Boston Celtics gear. The NBA Finals gets going today after a week off of NBA playoff basketball. For whatever reason, they just decided that they would schedule it and not touch it, not move it at all. Well, it's finally here. It's finally getting started after, it was like 10 days of no
they
NBA
expected
basketball.
more competitive finals. I think Western and Eastern Conference Finals.
They both went 5, right? Or did Boston sweep?
No, they did sweep. Yeah.
Yeah, Boston swept because Indiana's garbage. Even though,
well, they had their chance in game 1, and Jalen hit an incredible shot in the corner. But yeah, and then like every other opponent that Boston played, by the time game 3 came around, they were without their stars, and there goes the easy path to the final, as they'll call it, for the Celtics, which is interesting too, because I've been watching Celtics playoff basketball. I'm thankful they're a franchise that makes it year in and year out, and I've watched it for years and years, and there's nothing. Well, yeah, you wouldn't know, but there's a lot of like great memories and obstacles to overcome, and LeBron going to Miami, and then Miami, those battles. And this playoff run is just nothing really, nothing memorable whatsoever. And now you're in the finals, so it's kind of weird. I understand the sentiment of Boston didn't earn it or whatever, but they just kind of broke that way, and that's what you get for being the number 1 seed. That's what you get for winning 62 regular season games a year. If someone's going to get the breaks, that's what the seeding is in place for.
Ridiculous.
Your Knicks fell apart before they could take down the Pacers.
My Knicks had so many amazing moments in these playoffs and just fell apart because of how physical they played. But it's okay. We are going to talk a little bit of NBA Finals here shortly, but I want to get to this first. As we know what moves the needle in this city, what moves the needle in this state, and that's Nebraska football.
That's right.
Well, Nebraska football, as they did last year, getting off to a hot start in their offseason in the recruiting window, as they get 2 commits in the span of 2 days, a running back, and I'm just going to call him a lineman because he could play offensive or defensive line, as Nebraska gets the commitment of Jamarion Parker out of St. Louis, Missouri. Nebraska had a tough time breaking the wall down, getting into the St. Louis area, and they finally do it in the form of a 4-star running back who they had to beat Alabama out for in Jamarion Parker. Nebraska going into St. Louis and snatching one of the better running backs out of the city. As if I can find, I just had his junior season stats and it went away. Dang it!
They're pretty impressive. Yeah,
they're very impressive.
There's a lot, depending on draft prospects or recruits. Some of it's, even like TJ Latif's, his numbers don't pop out to you, and so a lot of it's like film. What do they project into? And then some guys are just stat monsters and don't always get the credit for it, I suppose. Like, you remember Cade Warner was just like the god of wide receivers in Arizona prep football, and had a pretty good career for what was expected of him coming in. But you like to pair the numbers with the tape, and Jamarion Parker certainly has that. Listed as the number 6 all-purpose back according to Rivals in the nation. 5th best player in Missouri. So that kind of tells you how much they got going on in Missouri there.
And again, you had to beat Alabama out for him. Jamarion Parker in his junior year at Cardinal Ritter Prep ran for 1,644 yards and 22 touchdowns, while also grabbing a couple receptions, 16 receptions for 267 yards and 4 touchdowns. You want an all-purpose back? You want a guy who can do it all? Looks like Jamarion Parker does just that for his high school, and hopefully Nebraska will be getting that same or better production from him when he does get on campus. Another player that they get a commitment from, and this one's a little different. I was listening to Early Break earlier, and Sipple was kind of going on about this player, but it is David Hofkin. Hofkin.
You have to say
Hofkin, I believe. H-O with the what's it called? The 2 dots over the O.
Yeah, I don't know what that's called.
I don't remember what it's called. Sipple said it earlier this morning. I don't remember what it's called, but it's Hoffken out of Germany. He was at a camp down in Texas when the staff went down there and was checking him out. He commits. He's a 6'7", 255-pound offensive tackle / defensive lineman. He's a late 2024 commit. So he'll be joining the team this year here in the fall, I believe.
Yeah, which is interesting too, because Nebraska's already over the scholarship limit. That's something a lot of fans worry about. We've talked to some of the people in that actually deal with that stuff on staff. They're not too worried about it, and I think part of that is too part of the NIL deals that Nebraska can make up there. And so it's interesting to kind of track those. Last year, we did have a run of players leave the program, post spring, and I even think a few in fall. I wonder if you're going to have that same sort of situation, or this year it's more put together for the NIL packages to relieve that the 85 scholarship limit. But yeah, I mean, especially you talk about a guy that's got a good frame, 6'7", 260?
6'7", 255 is what
Yeah.
he's listed at. So little, not concerning bit, but an interesting tidbit about David Hofkin. He's 22 years old, coming out of Germany. He was down in Belton, Texas, was offered by the staff in person, committed to the staff on the spot.
Yeah, very interesting prospect. So he'll be a freshman though at 22 years old.
Yes.
Huh.
He's been chasing. So here, this I'm reading a article, Inside Nebraska article from Tim Verghese. I believe that's how you say it.
Good way to say it, even if you don't.
Yeah, Verghese.
That's how you should say.
That's how we're gonna say it.
Yeah.
That's how we're gonna say it. So Hofkin, 22 years old, German native, has been chasing the dream of playing football in America for years. That dream is now a reality. He's got a 6'11" wingspan, runs a 4.96 40. He holds offers from North Texas and Division II West Texas A&M, was offered by Nebraska, again committed on the spot. A crazy athlete down at the Dallas Showcase was showcasing all of his abilities. There's a video out there that he posted himself of his 9'4" broad jump. For an offensive/defensive lineman, that's pretty impressive. But he's gonna have to probably put on some more weight to be either one of those.
Well, that's what you wonder at that weight, at that age. When you say it's a good frame, you kind of think of that for an 18-year-old kid. As a 22-year-old kid, maybe has filled that out already. You think maybe tight end in the future. Maybe he can't catch. I'm not really sure, but with the athleticism. Yeah. So I think they like to take guys that have athleticism and somewhat mold them into football players, as we've seen this staff, hasn't especially to take guys like this as a North Texas offer, nothing really spectacular going on. So I'm interested definitely to see it. And again, it says something about them that they want to bring him in now. It's they had to impress them enough that they go, well, we're already over, but yeah, bring him on a board. So I don't know. I don't think you expect
I wonder if
anything
it's going
from
to
right
be,
away, but
I wonder if it's going to be something like a gray shirt where he's not on scholarship right away, or he's not on scholarship for the year, but then when the next year starts, he'd be on scholarship. Where it's not a walk on, but it is a scholarship per sorts.
Scholarship in waiting.
Yeah. Scholarship in law.
Yeah. I don't know. But it is good to see the committing news. And like you said, one for this, I'm a little bit more excited for the running back, just, skill position player. The German kid sounds like somewhat of a project, and we'll kind of see how that turns out. In Nebraska, as long as they don't have a feature running back, and we'll see if they're able to find that this year. Maybe some of the additions that they've brought in, or somebody in Emmett Johnson turns into that this season. That's obviously going to be the focus. And you've had mixed returns. You always do with 4-star running backs. They don't seem to be at a higher hit rate than 3 stars for what it's worth. Amir Abdullah was a 3-star. It can happen either way, but you'd like to see it. A guy that does have those type of offers, and specifically being an all-purpose back. There's a lot of excitement for that. You just have to remember, he's not coming in this year, so we have to. It's weird, especially with that running back room, to try to project down the line, because I can't project 3 games into the season.
We have no idea who the starting running back is going to be. We have no idea what game one. Who's going to be lined up behind the quarterback. So you want to get excited. And this is kind of that thing where you want to temper your expectations. And I look super tempered because the dude just committed. All right. Yeah. Just committed yesterday, the day before. So we're not saying he's going to come in right away and be the star, but in a running back room that is begging somebody to take the reins and become that number one, that workhorse back, you have to consider that everybody, even incoming freshmen or freshmen incoming the following year, are in line to potentially become that starter. Again, not saying he's going to, but it's a running back room that has a ton of talent. It has guys who you've seen in certain games, in certain situations for 2-week, 3-week stretches, have shown the ability to potentially be that number one guy in the running back room, but nobody has stepped up to the plate swung hard, hit a home run, grabbed the reins, and said, "This is my room. Everybody else file in behind me."
Yeah, and like it's weird because Ramir Johnson, I mean, it feels like he's been here since 2016, just because it's been so long since that the 2021 season where he kind of took over midway through that year and was a playmaker. You remember some of those plays against Michigan and just hasn't got back there. Gabe Ervin, of course, as soon as you get excited about him for a quarter, he gets an injury, and so both those guys, I almost kind of feel like are, I don't expect much out of them. But I know that they're capable of doing it. It's like it wouldn't be a surprise if either of them take that top spot or end up becoming the number one running back. And so good. I think you have a healthy mix of guys that like have potential, have a few things on tape that we've seen. But again, usually if you have an Amir Abdul, if you have somebody that's going to end up being an all Big Ten type of back, you can see those flashes as a young player. And, like kick returns, you can see that with Amir. He got into it pretty quickly. Rex had an injury. Rex Burke had it, and then Amir jumped in and was fantastic. I don't know if you've seen that sort of flash. Emmett Johnson, I think toward the end of the year last year, especially that fourth quarter guy, which remember Matt Rule was talking about Gabe Ervin as being that guy going into that year, wear down the defense and then grind them out in the fourth quarter with 4 or 5 yards of carry. And that's kind of what Emmett Johnson started to do. So, I mean, I think he's the odds-on favorite probably to take the running back job. But then you throw Dante Dowdell in there. It's going to be interesting, and it's going to be a fight for carries. And I'm intrigued because you always go back to the argument of, well, I'd rather have one stable, go-to back. And, well, yeah, you would, but almost everybody would, because that means you have a dude. That means you have a guy that earned that, that's rise above everybody else. And
it's
so
also not terrible to have multiple running backs who you can rely on.
No,
not one guy where you're just like, look, we're loading you up with 38 carries today, but have 3 guys, maybe 2 guys. So you're just like, all right, we're splitting the carries. You're getting 20, you're getting 18 or something like that. That's not a problem. I don't mind running back by committee, but somebody on the text line says people are sleeping on Emmett Johnson. I don't think people are sleeping on Emmett Johnson. As Bock said, he's probably the odds-on favorite to potentially be the starter day one for Nebraska. Dante Dowdell, who transfers in from Oregon, also probably in that mix. But Emmett Johnson, what he was able to showcase last year, I think almost vaulted him to the very tip top of that running back room. But you got to think, that this coaching staff, how much they love just athletes, as you mentioned before, having an athlete and kind of getting them to learn the game of football. An all-purpose back is something that it seems like they're looking for as well. Yes, they want to have somebody who can grind out carries in the fourth quarter, but in terms of what maybe their offense is going to look like, somebody who can block, catch passes out of the backfield, and still run between the tackles, it seems like that's where they want it to go.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. I mean, because it kind of reminds me to a degree in the wide receiver room, because I think there's a big expectation that there's a lot of weapons that Nebraska can use in the passing game, and that's going to take a major step up. But of course, with Dillon not necessarily being too fleet of foot, you're going to need that traditional running game. And so when I think of like the wide receiver room, I think it's easy to get really excited and start saying, well, if this guy and that guy, there's a lot of ifs though, and not a whole lot of proven, outside of Jamal Banks, proven guys that have done it at the Power 5 level. Say IJC did it in New Mexico State. Isaiah Nair did it at Wyoming too. They put up stats, so I don't want to, but so it's kind of the same thing with the running back and wide receiver room. There's a bevy of options, and somebody's going to rise. Somebody's going to end up being the lead receiver.
Yeah,
somebody's going to end up being
talented guys, but you don't have much proven.
Do you have a separation piece? Do you have a guy? Is the wide receiver room going to be one guy at 700 yards, one guy at 600 yards, and that'd be fine? Or do you have a guy get 1,000-yard season? Same thing in the running back room, right? Is a couple guys going to have 500 yards this year, or is somebody going to take over? Again, it doesn't have to necessarily be one way or the other. We were talking in the other day about the last several Super Bowl champions don't necessarily have a great running back. And so, that's pro football, but it can go to college football as well. So we'll see. I mean, I think there's so much options to throw out there. It's hard to imagine that Nebraska won't find, that it's going to be a major struggle, but it's just been so long since Nebraska's had a traditional running game, quarterback outside of it, that's been able to carry the running game. And so that's kind of my big question here. You got a veteran offensive line. if at any time it should be able to do it, you got a schedule that kind of sets up for you to gain confidence and grow with playing alongside one another. It's one thing to say you want to wear opponents down in the fourth quarter. It's another thing to get there and to be able to do it.
The ability, you can talk about wanting to wear opponents down all you want, but the ability to actually line up and impose your will on the defense and just, run for 4 yards, run for 4 yards, run for 3 yards, and just continue to do that an entire fourth quarter is completely different.
Yeah.
And that's what they're going to be looking for. And like you said, they've got a bevy of talent, I guess you could say, in the running back and the wide receiver room. But in terms of proven commodities at the Division I level, very few and far between. So you've got guys who can do it, but will they do it? I don't know. I mentioned that last week on the captain, how in the wide receiver room, I had trust in one person, and that was Jamal Banks. And the captain didn't like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about Ja'Cory Barney. I mean, there's a lot of guys in there that have a lot of upside.
Yeah,
but
not
as far
to say
as
that I don't think that they'll do well.
Yeah.
But in terms of who do you think is going to make an impact, who are you looking at to be the number one wide receiver? Jamal Banks.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know. You have guys who Isaiah Neyor did it at Wyoming, like you mentioned. IGC has shown the ability to be a breakout wide receiver, but just as he was preparing to break out his first year, he leaves the team.
Yeah.
And then he comes back that second year and he gets hurt. So it's a guy who potentially has that ability. He showed it against Northwestern, but we're not sure if he can do it for an entire season. Neyor got hurt at Texas his year down there, his 2 years down there. He got hurt his first year. So it's, again, talented guys, a lot going on, but who is going to step up and be the number two behind Banks?
I was just thinking about that IGC Northwestern game too, because I remember when it happened. Remember he had that fumble that I didn't even think was a fumble, but it was called a fumble. They stuck with it on the field. And I remember this was after he had that corner of the end zone catch, and he had like over 100 yards that game. And I remember thinking on that play, like, okay, that's all right. There's a lot of big plays coming from this guy based on what we'd seen throughout this game. And 2 years later, it hasn't been one. I don't think there's been one more big play. I think
he got like 3 catches in the next 3 games. After that, he didn't play in one of the games. He got targeted like twice in one game and dropped one of the passes, and then he left the team.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, he is as big as a mystery as anybody on that unit.
It's possible. Anything is possible.
That's right. Kevin Garnett would tell you.
There you go. And with that, we're going to talk a little NBA Finals when we get back from the break. You listen to the happy hour on 93.7 The Ticket. The guys, Nick Sainert, Austin Norman, Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, Derek Pearson will all be out. Jake Sorensen will all be out at Scissors and Scotch today. So following this, you'll get a nice little remote broadcast from a wonderful place. I got my hair cut there a couple weeks ago. It's really nice out there.
Yeah.
I wish I could have I didn't have to drive anywhere and I could have just sat down. Obviously, they're not going to get you drunk, but just having a drink and just sitting down and relaxing, because it's a really nice spot out there. I believe it's 30th and Yankee Hill out there.
You really enjoyed that haircut. You've been talking about it the last couple of days.
You know what? We're going to go to a break, and I'm going to let you guys know how the haircut went when we come back, and then we'll talk NBA Finals. But I'll let Bock get on his soapbox about his Boston Celtics and how great they are. You listen to the Happy Hour 93.7 The Ticket.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's the best time of the year to order a new John Deere sprayer during Landmark Implement's Fast Start Early Order program. Leverage the industry's latest technology with See and Spray to target weeds in season in corn and soybeans and use less herbicide per acre. Utilize Exact Apply to save in chemical usage and prevent over-application. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year during Landmark Implement's Fast Start Early Order program. Contact your local Landmark location for full details and experience the Landmark difference.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring your friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, deal ends June 14th. Join now, online or at your local PF Club.
See Home Club for details.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
For the second year, the Nebraska Lottery's NASCAR Powerball Playoff promotion has roared into our state, and the excitement is throttling up. Until June 24th, buy a Powerball ticket with Power Play and Double Play. Enter the voucher number, and you could be one of 15 Nebraska winners of $1,000 and the chance to win a VIP trip to the NASCAR Cup Series Championship weekend, plus a shot at $1 million. Enter today. Powerball top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. When it comes to gift giving, it's all about the wow factor. And let me tell you, nothing wows quite like jewelry. Whether it's a delicate necklace or a statement ring, jewelry makes the right statement. So if you want to knock her socks off, or anything else for that matter, skip the generic gifts and go straight for the bling. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
If you've been putting off your health, what are you waiting for? The summer 10-week challenge at Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping is exactly what you need to kickstart your wellness. Farrell's gives you all the tools, coaching, support, and accountability you need to be successful. The 10-week challenge begins on June 8th, and monthly payments are now available. Head to fxblincoln.com for all the details. Stop taking your health for granted and get started with Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
The weather is hot, the kids are out of school, and you're on your way to the lake and summer road trips. Are you getting to your vacation spot comfortably, or is your car letting you down? Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride for summer road trips and beyond. Mullen Motors.
No tag-on, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Highball Bar in downtown Lincoln is open and located just north of 11th and O Street. Highball Bar offers a vibe and atmosphere like no other, making it the perfect place to grab a drink or beverage. Highball Bar features great events such as Karaoke Sunday, $4 Tito's on Mondays, Jack Daniel's specials on Wednesdays, and much more. Make Highball Bar your go-to spot after a hard day at work or on the weekend. Highball Bar, located at 122 North 11th Street in downtown Lincoln.
Problem gambling affects millions of Americans daily, of all ages and walks of life. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Wilbur-Clatonia School District congratulates their graduating class of 2024, and they commend students against destructive decisions, such as bullying or cell phone usage while driving. The administration, teachers, and support staff at Wilbur-Clatonia School District encourages teens to avoid distracted driving. Stay alert to your surroundings, and younger ones should avoid texting and talking while biking and walking. Let's stay alert this spring and summer. Wilbur-Clatonia School District, working tirelessly for safety all year long.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
Even before you start. That was a preemptive
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
I already had someone created in my image. He's evil, he wants to take over the world, and he fits easily into most overhead storage bins.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
As I was saying before we went to a break, the following two shows will not take place here at our studios at 1040 O Street. They will be all the way out at 30th and Yankee Hill, Scissors and Scotch. But this show, The happy hour, sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting, is taking place at the 93.7 The Ticket Studios, 1040 O Street. Come on by, get yourself some coffee or a nice energy drink from the mill. Get you some Beatrice Bakery goodies. Just get a drink. Come sit on the patio. Get a nice little cake. Sit on the patio. Eat that. Drink a drink. You'll be good. It's a beautiful day. The nice little breeze going down 11th. It's fantastic right now. It's fantastic out there. But the gentlemen are out at Scissors and Scotch. I got a haircut there a few weeks ago. And let me tell you something. I have never had anybody other than myself shampoo my hair and like massage my scalp. And that was the first time. And it was glorious. I've never had that experience with a haircut. Usually I just go in, get my haircut, get lined up, talk a little bit about sports or whatever, bounce. That's it. Pay the man, bounce. This time, went out there, was talking to and I don't remember her name, and I feel terrible, but I was talking to her, found out she was from Kearney. It was wonderful because I was talking about my time in Kearney. And
Loper?
No, yeah. Well, no, she wasn't Loper. She went to school in Grand Island.
Okay, but
so no.
From
So
Kearney.
It was from Kearney. It was great. Got the hair shampooed, made sure. So there was like, after I got my hair cut, usually I'm like covered in hair. I had like no hair on me. I was like, this is amazing. This is wonderful. I've never had this before. Got the shampoo, got the hot towel on my face. Again, something I'd never done before. It was an amazing experience. So if you've never had any of that, or even if you have and you're looking for a place to get your hair cut, head on down to Scissors and Scotch. They've got a whole bunch of things going on there today while we have our broadcast. Austin, Nick, Strick, Jay, DP, Jake, they'll all be out there, so you can go talk to them, get yourself a drink, get yourself a haircut, and you'll be good for the beautiful weekend that's upcoming.
Yeah, and so they don't. It's not scotch at the same time as the.
No,
haircut
you're not
now.
getting your drink while you're getting your haircut.
No.
You don't have to worry about hair in your drink. There's
Yeah.
like an area, like a waiting area, where they'll send you, and you're waiting for your barber to finish and ready, waiting for them to your hairstylist to come get you. And you go over there, you can get a drink. It's not all alcoholic. You can get non-alcoholic drinks there as well. And you sit there and you can converse with the bartenders. You can converse with the other people that are in there. It's a really nice sitting area. And then they call you over. You go over, you get your haircut. And after that, if you don't want to leave and if you want to go back to the little bar area and sit down and talk to some people some more, you totally can. It's fantastic, man. It's a great setup down there.
Turn
too.
it into scissors and too much scotch.
Scissors and that see, but they're responsible and they're not gonna overserve. I don't even think they're gonna serve you to the point where you can't end up driving home. So I think it's just like, here's your drink. I don't know what the limit is. That'll be a question that I'm sure that they'll ask while they're down there. But no, it's a great facility down there, and it's really cool down there, 30th Yankee Hill, right by Tanner's Bar and Grill. So you can head down there. But speaking of Tanner's, NBA Finals.
That's right.
Coming up tonight. Bock Celtics.
Yes.
Strix Mavericks.
He's a Celtic too.
Yeah, but he already told us he's rooting Dallas this week. He's wearing blue.
How dare he?
He's wearing blue.
How dare he?
You'll have to talk to him about that.
Yeah, I know he had a great. I think he had a longer run with Dallas, so that's fair enough. But his playoff run was with the Celtics.
Immediate thoughts after Dallas took down Minnesota, and you knew that Boston and Dallas would be facing off.
Well, obviously, the first thoughts, especially as a Celtics fan, is okay, Kyrie. I mean, this is what. I'm a wrestling fan, and sometimes in wrestling's territory, you sometimes you don't like a feud. They just throw it together 2 weeks before pay-per-view. It's like, well, that's not very good. I like long-term storytelling, and long-term storytelling of this thing is fantastic. First of all, with the Kyrie stuff, and then second of all, is that you have to remember, we're used to it because they've been together for so long. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were still part of that trade for Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce all those years ago. They were some of the draft picks that were in part of that. So, I mean, this is a long time coming for the Celtics, and that's what it has been year in and year out. It's like, when is this going to happen? Danny Ainge did a masterful job of putting a roster together year in and year out, and kind of had these two different timelines. And if you remember with Boston, when they had Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown as rookies and first-year guys, it was on this separate timeline, and they had Isaiah Thomas, and they were, they're the number one seed, even a couple years ago. And then they said, all right, Isaiah's broken. We'll trade him for Kyrie, and so it kind of reset this new timeline for Boston. with the young guys, with Kyrie and Gordon Hayward and Al Horford there and all that. And they just weren't able to get it done at all. I mean, Kyrie was out the first playoffs. Terry Rozier stepped in. They did great. Got to Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Jason Tatum had a huge dunk on LeBron. Weren't quite able to win that game, and therefore didn't go to the NBA Finals. And then the next year, Kyrie, came back. Terry Rozier was mad, and he left after this upcoming year I was talking about. And then they didn't have playoff success. The way that Kyrie was, they had so many options on the team, but he's kind of a ball dominant player. And so he was kind of missing the important shots and that. And so it ended poorly. I mean, and he also, at his time in Boston, talked about how wanting to sign a long-term extension. At that time in his career, he was, since then he's kind of gone through the flat earth and anti-vax stuff and all that. So, I mean, there's been plenty of storylines for Kyrie following that. And then also since he's left Boston, even to include last year in the playoffs, he was flipping off fans in the stands in Boston. Of course, they're giving him hell. He stomps on Lucky. So immediately when it's Dallas, that's what I thought of. I thought of Kyrie Irving, but
didn't even think about Luka. Immediately,
yeah, right. Which is hopefully not how the people I think the fans are going to think more Kyrie, but I think within the Boston organization, Luka, I think he's your number one scout. But of course, Kyrie not far behind.
Yeah, no, those two. It's a strange situation that Dallas has found themselves in, where when they did sign Kyrie, it was thought that there's no way this works out. You got two ball dominant point guards who's gonna defer to the other person, who's going to realize, or who's gonna take a step back and say, look, this isn't my team, this is your team. Well, Kyrie did just that. I understand all of the vitriol that's going to come at him from Boston fans because of everything that happened during and after his time in Boston, but he seems to have grown up so much from that time, from even the times with the Nets, that it's really impressive to see how Kyrie has taken a step back and been that Robin to Luka's Batman. But I am looking forward to the storylines as well. I am looking forward so much to, hopefully it doesn't get too bad between Kyrie and the fans in Boston, which is probably going to, knowing the fans in Boston.
Well, that's the fun thing is Kyrie says he's older, he's more mature. It's like, all right, let's wait. Let's see. Let's have some games go.
Somebody's going to say something.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's going to say something, and Kyrie's going to have to bite his tongue.
As proud as I am to be a Boston Celtics fan, I'm not as proud of the Boston Celtics fans.
You're not lumped in with those fans. You're a Boston Celtics fan, but you're not a Bostonian.
That's right.
Celtics fan.
Because it can get dicey there. So, we'll have to wait and see. And of course, I just think it matches up well for the Celtics. I know a lot of people are saying this as an even series, and the thing is for the Celtics is you can't trust them in the crunch time, and they've struggled this year even with their 64 wins, which is the most for an Eastern Conference team since LeBron's Miami Heat, by the way.
Way to sneak that in there.
Yeah, just bragging a little bit. But it's with their wins, they were blowing everybody out.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they get in a blowout situation, which they can because they just have such a deep team, everybody can shoot the three. And so it's just really well built for modern NBA. If they blow you out, then that's fine. And that's all. But if it gets into the close games, that's where they were more 500 and kind of those, 2-3 possession games there with 2 minutes left to go. And that's where I do worry, because that's where Luka Doncic and Kyrie specifically are two of the best in the league at making that big shot. The Celtics have found a way to bumble it away at times. Like, people feel the Celtics should have won more by now. I'm not really into the. I've heard that, well, they have to take it. This is their chance. They're not going to. They've had like a different champion each of the last 5 years.
Your window's closing.
And tell me this: if the window's closing, going into next year, who's going to be on one of the top teams, if not the top team, to win the NBA championship?
The New York Knicks. It's
going to be Boston. So that whole idea of it's now or never is a little bit silly. But eventually, you do want to get. They've had opportunities. You do want to get it. And this is a matchup that I think favors them. They're just more deep. I think even if you give Dallas, which I don't, but if people would argue, some would say that Dallas has the two best player in the series. Once you get to the top 10 players, there's like 8 of them in Boston. The top 8 rotation.
Dallas has the best player in the series.
Yeah.
And I would say they have 2 of the top 3.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think Jaylen Brown any given night could be just as good as obviously or better than Kyrie or Jason Tatum, as he's already proven. And Luka and Kyrie, for as good as they are too, what Boston doesn't, Jason will get in trouble, Jason Tatum, because he's a lead player if he shoots 4 of 14 or something like that. But he doesn't, like, if he's having an off night, Jaylen will take over or somebody else will start. If Luka or Kyrie have an off night, they're kind of like the old NBA, like Kobe or AI, where they could shoot like 4 of 19, and
it's like, okay, well, now what?
Yeah.
Like, so Dallas has 2 of the top 3. Boston has 5 or 7 of the top 10.
Where do you put PJ Washington? Where do you, is Tim Hardaway Jr. healthy? Maybe
like if you have a healthy Kristaps Porzingis, like that's going to be a problem for Dallas. But you said something that I didn't even think about. It's something that piqued my interest. If it's a close game, it gets into crunch time. If you're Dallas, who's taking the shot more like 99 times out of 100. It's Luka. If it's Boston and it's a close game, who gets the last shot? I know Jaylen Brown hit that big shot in game 1 against Indiana, but does Jason Tatum, like, is he being considered, like, who defers to the other person? And that's the problem with Boston, is that there isn't a clear Robin to a Batman, which, I mean, whatever. There isn't a clear Batman to a Superman. Superman is that dude. Batman is still that dude, but he's a little bit lower. There isn't that. There isn't really somebody who realizes this is this person's team. I need to take a half a step back.
Well, and then the other thing, and I think Jason kind of is taken on that role more so than Jaylen Brown. We all heard about him not being able to go left. He can go left, but both of them are somewhat turnover prone in those situations. And that's the weird thing, is even their top 3 players, to include Kristaps, if there's you need a shot, you need to get a good shot in the final couple minutes. It's not necessarily get Jason the ball. Who I trust with the ball most is Derek White, because whether he forces his shot and he can make some difficult shots, or is best ball handler, can find, move the traditional offense in a way to find an open shot. That's who I want with the ball, which is, interestingly enough, with all these great players on Boston's team and in the series, that's who I want with the ball if Boston needs a shot. Mm-hmm. And again, it's not necessarily him taking the shot, but he'll find a way to get a good shot.
Give me Al Horford as the X factor.
Al
Horford sneakily.
You're not wrong.
If Al Horford has himself a good game, and by good game I mean like 15 points and like 8 rebounds, but his 15 points are timely. And when you what's the most frustrating thing when you're playing against the Boston Celtics is Al Horford hitting a damn 3.
Yeah, open threes.
It's just because the center doesn't close out. They never do. That guy's not going to hit this. And it's like, no, he hits these.
And he shoots so weird.
It's disgusting, but it goes in.
But that's the thing, is that's just how deep they are. And they're not as deep as all the Celtics have been. They kind of had to give up some of that to get a Drew Holiday. And of course, another reason why I like Boston here, Drew Holiday and Derek White, 2 of the best perimeter defenders. So the fact that it's Luka and Kyrie, they're impossible to stop. But if anybody can slow them down, it's going to be, those 2 defenders. But that's what I like. I mean, the depth is, Al Horford is, as we've seen through this playoff run without Kristaps, he's capable of being a starting center and winning a championship. I mean, he's a championship level player from college. It hasn't won a championship, but been in competition his whole pro career. But for him to be coming off the bench, even a Peyton Pritchard who can go off for 15, the same type of thing. I think they just have too much depth for Dallas. And again, I think Dallas's only hope, my X factor in the series is actually Tim Hardaway Jr., who can score like 18 points a game in his career, but has only been averaging like 6 in this playoffs. He's been dealing with some injuries. And so we'll have to see. I think that, to me, if Dallas needs a third, I mean, Dallas is going to need, and Washington, I suppose, is that guy, but
Derek Lively?
Yeah, he can't shoot. So I don't know.
Bully ball.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Boston in 6.
It's not going to happen. Wow. All right. He's calling it. You heard it here first.
That's
the
right.
Boston fan thinks Boston's going to win. Never thought that was going to happen. All right. We're going to get to a break. I don't know if we are going to attempt to get the guys on from Scissors and Scotch, see if they want to join us for the crossover or not. If not, we'll close it up here on the happy hour. You're listening on 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
24/7 threat monitoring, expert tech support, streamlined communications. Allo has a solution for that. Protect your business with Allo Business. Comprehensive firewall security, Microsoft Teams voice-integrated communications, cybersecurity and IT support managed by experts. From productivity to peace of mind, Allo has a solution for that. Allo means business. Protect your business by visiting allofiber.com/business.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The Electrical Workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see sunshine to go along with a light breeze. Afternoon high around 83. Tonight, clear skies with an overnight low around 57. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies to start, but a chance of showers and storms late. The high around 86. Meteorologist Kyle Cluck from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wilbur-Clatonia School District congratulates their graduating class of 2024, and they commend students against destructive decisions, such as bullying or cell phone usage while driving. The administration, teachers, and support staff at Wilbur-Clatonia School District encourages teens to avoid distracted driving. Stay alert to your surroundings, and younger ones should avoid texting and talking while biking and walking. Let's stay alert this spring and summer. Wilbur-Clatonia School District, working tirelessly for safety all year long.
Looking for a job that feels like family? Join Lincoln Industries, where tradition meets innovation. They're a family-owned, privately held manufacturing company with a passion for excellence and a commitment to their community. They have openings on all shifts at both the main plant and air park facilities, offering flexibility to fit your schedule. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, there's a place for you there. At Lincoln Industries, they invest in their people's success, providing opportunities for growth and advancement. Apply now and become a part of something special at Lincoln Industries.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The Electrical Workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today. Ironhide Construction is a Nebraska-based general contracting and steel construction firm. Their expert team is experienced in building innovative construction solutions across several industries. While they were previously known for their extensive experience in steel erection and metal buildings, they've continued to evolve over the last several years into a full-service general contracting firm. They take pride in their commitment to quality, cutting-edge technology, and having a passion for what they do. For more information about their services or to discuss an upcoming project, visit www.ironhideconstruction.com or call 402-420-4961.
Grandpa Dave here from Osted's Golf, helping the grandkids get their dad the perfect gift for Father's Day.
Thanks for your help, Grandpa. Dad wasn't thrilled with the candy that we got him last year, but we sure liked it.
Okay, kids, save up to $200 on clubs from TaylorMade, Callaway, Titleist, or Ping. We're up to 50% off name brand golf apparel. Buy 2 dozen Strixon balls, get one free. And dads love Osted's gift cards.
Papa, we need a bigger allowance.
Talk to your dad.
Shop Osted's Golf for Father's Day.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
When I gave you the cookie, I heard very clearly, I don't think about you, Schmidt.
Why would I think about you?
Because we're friends. We're not animals.
We're men. The only time a man is allowed to think about another man is when that man is Jay Cutler.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I decided that the NBA Finals talk was not complete. So we went out and we got a superstar. Harrison Arms.
That's flattering intro. That might be the best intro I've gotten at the ticket so far.
Mr. Do It All, Do Everything. How you doing, man?
Keep going. Yeah, no, I'm doing great.
How you doing?
Doing fantastic.
What's the six tool? I don't know, 3 tool. I don't know. What's the baseball thing? Whatever tool. Yeah, six tool player.
Oh yeah, you can call me that.
He's like Mike. He's like Mike Trout.
Yeah, there you go.
Minus the injuries.
But yeah, no, I'm doing great. It's Thursday. You guys know Thursdays are my Fridays, so I'm in a pretty good mood.
That's
It's
right,
beautiful
yeah.
weather outside. Yeah, man, I'm in a great mood. We got finals starting today, NBA finals. Obviously, got Mavericks, Celtics. I'm in a fantastic mood. This should be a fun series. I don't think this is going to be one that's, well, Foster and company are on the officiating crew, so it's not going to finish shortly. They're going to drag it out to at least 6.
Love it.
Yeah.
Big fan of Scott Foster.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, where are you guys at? Where did you guys wrap up with your discussion of the series? Which way you're leaning? I see Box in a green Celtics jersey. I can take a wild guess.
So
but...
he's going Mavs in 5.
Mm-hmm.
I got Celtics in 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see 6 games. Rico?
I want this game to go 7. I don't think it will. And unfortunately, I do believe that Boston finally gets over the hump. But it all hinges on this first game.
Yeah.
Put some stakes on tonight, huh?
Hmm.
I'm serious. If Dallas wins tonight, Dallas is going to win in 6.
Yeah, just because with the Boston Celtics, this is why it's so hard to read the Celtics, because like on paper, they look like the team that should win. They look like the team that should have won it last year. They have multiple times where, but the history will tell you don't pick the Boston Celtics because they crumble at the biggest moments. Yeah. And I don't know. I'm really on the fence of like, is this the year? Because Brown has been playing incredibly consistent throughout the entire playoffs. So that gives me a lot of hope if I'm a Boston Celtics fan that you're not seeing kind of the same version of Brown in previous playoffs where he's had turnover issues, shooting numbers were ebbing and flowing. He's been consistent. And then Tatum, I mean, you got enough depth there. Tatum's still a superstar. But again, you're looking with a veteran in Kyrie Irving who not entirely sold on yet, but this has been a hell of a comeback series for Kyrie Irving to climb all the way back to these playoffs and kind of reestablish his story. But it's going to be interesting to see how this thing kind of works out between Luka and Kyrie. That with the size, having Gafford and Lively, I think it's going to be important. What if Porzingis is back? How healthy is he? Is he 70%? Is he 80%? Because then you might, as crazy as it, you might be better off just rolling out Al Horford and trying to win the whole series with Al Horford out there. So I think this is going to be a close series. I'm probably going 7 games, but I do think this is the year that Boston figures it out. I don't think they fall apart in the biggest moment.
I'm just saying, if Dallas you can't let Dallas get hot. You can't let Dallas get any type of momentum, because if they do, Luka's just going to ride the wave. And if he's off, obviously Kyrie's going to carry it. If they win game 1, I kid you not. If they win game 1, they're winning in 6, because I don't care if Boston wins this first one. I don't care if Dallas wins the next 2. Boston's going to end up winning it. Like, I just think that this game right now, this first game in Boston, is so important to the headspace for Luka and Kyrie, especially for Kyrie, because he's matured. He's a very mature player. He knows the game very well, very high basketball IQ, but there's going to be that twinge of wanting to get back at Boston so badly that there might be some bad decisions on the court made by Kyrie Irving.
on the court.
On the court. I'm not going to say. Gotta make sure.
Yeah.
Got to make sure we get that in.
What I think too, and I mentioned him briefly though, but I mean, we talk about X factors, and there's so many that you can go in a series like this. But Drew Holiday certainly could be that guy too. I mean, he's a guy that came in, took a much less of an offensive role with this team because it's just not needed as much. But I think he's going to be probably the primary defender on Kyrie, I would assume, and then Luka would probably draw Derek White. And those are great defenders. So I'm interested to see. How much success can you have on on Kyrie if you're Drew Holiday? And then does he get back? I mean, because there's certain games where if the 3-pointer is not going, he can kind of, for a guard, bully himself down in and get a bucket. So he can get 20 points at any time and is not necessarily expected to. So that's, again, I just think the Celtics have too much depth to win this game, to win this series. I pick it in 6 because I also don't trust the Celtics.
Yeah, I will say that with Drew Holiday, this is the best roster he could probably be a part of.
I love Drew Holiday, and I hate that he's in Celtics green.
Well, those years with the New Orleans Pelicans, those playoffs, there weren't great playoff runs for him offensively, but it's because he was that defensive guy at the same time, and he just gets so worn out. This is the best spot. So
who are you picking?
Celtics. We're going Celtics 7.
Wow.
Shout out to those Pelicans, by the way. That was awesome. AD, Rondo, Mirotic.
Yeah. Had a cooking.
Yeah. Those are some good.
How did that team not win?
That's one of my favorite teams there. Drew Holiday. Yeah.
How did that team not win? I'm very confused. Thank you, Bock. Thank you, Harrison, for joining me. Up next on the block, old school, live from Scissors and Scotch, 30th and Yankee Hill, Austin and Strick, Nick, Jay, DP. They'll all be live out there. Head on out there, get yourself a haircut, get yourself a drink, listen to some great radio. We will see you tomorrow. Adios.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Wall to